Okay, we are continuing with the road to exams from January to June, and we are on week 11. But before we get started, I wanted to let you know about some aiming for A-star sessions that I'm running over the Easter holidays, which take place on Zoom, and they go into a lot more detail of some of the questions I look at here. And if you like the way that I teach, they might be something that will be really useful for you in getting prepared for your exams. So do check out the link in the description in case that paid for event might be something that you're interested in attending. People in the past have said that they are very, very useful, often giving them loads of extra marks in the exam as well. But check it out and see if it's something that you might like. Now, the questions are starting to get a little bit harder now that we are in week 11 of 24. And this kind of differentiation with trigonometry topic is particularly tricky because of the fact that we get x in terms of y rather than y in terms of x. And it says here that x is equal to 6 sine squared 2y. And we're going to try and show that dy by dx is equal to this thing where a and b are integers to be found. Now, the trick with these kinds of questions is instead of finding dy by dx to begin with, let's just find dx by dy, and then we'll see if we can manipulate it to get it back in terms of x rather than in terms of y. We don't really need to worry too much about this part that we've got here. So you know that for differentiation questions, I usually like to rewrite it so that we have the sine 2y all being squared like this. And I'll differentiate with respect to y to get dx dy. So I have 6 blah squared. I'm going to pull that 2 down so that I get a 12 multiplied by sine 2y. That's how we would expect it to differentiate. But then we also need to multiply by the derivative of sine 2y, which is 2 cos 2y. So let's simplify this a little bit more so that we have that dx by dy is equal to 24 sine 2y cos 2y. Now, if I rearrange this slightly so that I have it as dy by dx, we know that we can just take the reciprocal and we have 1 over 24 sine 2y cos 2y. Now, the trick here is we need this thing that's in terms of y to all be in terms of x. We'll notice that the numerator is just a 1 that we've got here, so that's pretty good that it can stay. And we're going to try and do some manipulation to get these things that are in terms of y into things that are in terms of x. And if you came to my trig masterclass, which was in the February half term, you might know how to do these kinds of questions. So I think this part that we've got here, the sine 2y, should be pretty easy because I can just rearrange that equation that we've got at the top. So let's go ahead and do that part. If we know that x is equal to 6 sine squared 2y, well, I can divide by 6. So that x over 6 is sine squared 2y. And then I can square root both sides so that sine 2y is the square root of x over 6. So I've now got this first part, which is my green bit, that I can do. And we're now going to try and have to figure out this second part, which is the cos 2y. Now, if you do find me going a bit fast through these things, I tend to, when I'm doing my other videos and my masterclasses and aiming for A-star sessions, go a little bit slower and answer some questions, but you can always ask some questions about this in the comments as well. So I need to find out what cos 2y is. Well, you know what? I know if I have sine squared, I know an identity that I can use for that particular part that we've got there. So I'm going to take that line and I'm going to do a bit of extra work on this because I now know that x over 6, which is the same as sine squared 2y, well, sine squared is 1 minus cos squared 2y. Remember, the aim here is to find out what cos 2y is in terms of x. So I'll do a little bit of rearranging. I'm going to put the cos squared 2y onto the left-hand side, and I'll put the x over 6 onto the right-hand side so that it looks like this. So I've done that rearranging, which now means I can square root it to find that cos 2y is the square root of 1 minus x over 6. That is the blue part that I was looking for. So I've done the green part and the blue part, which means I can now, in theory, just put this together and say that dy by dx, which was 1 over 24 sine 2y cos 2y, I can replace this with what I've just done. So there's going to be the 24, the sine 2y, the green part is the square root of x over 6, and the blue part is the square root of 1 minus x over 6, like this. So let's have a look at what's different about what we've got and what they've got. Well, there's the 1 in the numerator, so that's all good. But definitely this part is different because we have a combined thing rather than 2 separate parts. And we have no fractional stuff at all. Everything is integers that we've got here because a and b are integers to be found. So I'm probably going to do a little bit of work on this part that we've got. I'm going to do a little bit of work on that somewhere else on my page just to make this a bit easier to do. So I have the square root of these two things like this. And we should know from our work on surds back in GCSE, this is like the square root of a times the square root of b. which is just the square root of those two things multiplied together. So let's have a go at doing this. We're going to do a big square root sign, and it is an x over 6 multiplied by a 1 minus x over 6, like this. So with these brackets expanding, I'm going to get an x over 6 minus an x squared over 36. Okay, so we're starting to get the thing that we're looking for in the answer. We have something with an x minus something with an x squared. But the interesting difference here is the x squared has nothing with it at all, but ours has a 36. So I'm wondering if we can use that rule that I shouldn't have rubbed out, that the square root of a times the square root of b is the square root of ab. Is there a way that I can separate this into two things so that I have an x squared by itself? And there is going to be a way of doing this. So I'm going to do it as two. I'll do it in a slightly slower stage. Okay, I'm going to just factorize it in a way that will leave the x squared with something, just a 1x squared. If I take out a factor of 1 over 36, then that part has got to be an x squared, obviously. 1 over 36 times x squared, I'll put that minus in there as well, will obviously give me this part. We just need to think, what does x need to be multiplied by to give me 1 over 6x? So what needs to be here that when I times it by 1 over 36, I get x over 6? I'm hoping you're knowing this is going to be a 6x, like this. So now I can split this into two separate parts using this rule that we've got up here, but I'm going to use it to the left. I'm going to take two things that are multiplied and write it as two separate surds like this, meaning this is the same as 1 over 36 square rooted, and then the 6x minus x squared like this. And luckily, 1 over 36 square rooted is just going to be a sixth. So I have a sixth 6x minus x squared. So that part that I've just been working on, which was the purple or pinkish part that we've got here, can now be simplified down to this thing. And what I tried to do throughout this question was look at what I was aiming for. I left the 1 in the numerator because that was all good, but I started looking at this thing here and I thought I need to have that x squared by itself. So I worked on this whole process to get it looking like this. Now that I've done this, I think I can do the last part of the question, which hopefully should be a lot easier. I'm going to have the 24 multiplied by this thing that is down here, which is 1 over 6, the square root of 6x minus x squared. So 24 times by a sixth, or 24 divided by a sixth, or 24 times a sixth, or 24 divided by 6 is 4. And then we still get left with the 6x minus x squared like this. Hence, we have shown that dy by dx is equal to this thing here, where I think it was a is 4 and b is 6. I think that was the a and that was the b. Is that what we've got in the question? Yeah. So let's see if that is actually the correct answer. I think this is definitely the hardest question of these ones so far. Yeah, we do have the 4 and the 6 like this. There are a couple of other different approaches that you might like to see in the mark schemes that are down here as well. This was just my kind of way of thinking about this. And really, it was going from something that was all in terms of y, trying to get it all in terms of x, and then some pretty challenging surd manipulation that we have over here. I'm going to get rid of that part that I just wrote down to try and keep this a little bit neater. So a very challenging question. You're going to find they get a little bit trickier now that we're in week 11 of these kinds of things. And in the next week, what we'll be looking at is a mechanics question. I say a bit trickier. This one's decent, so it's only a question 1. So I will see you next week. And like I said before, if you do want to come to my Aiming for A Star sessions that take place during the Easter holidays, do, if you are interested, get the tickets sooner rather than later, because each year these do sell out and they are very, very popular events. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this useful and I will see you next week.